hello, everyone, and welcome to the live episode of the Butterfly Evolution Radio Show. I am so excited because I have my cousin, daughter, cousin. Is that the official
Yeah.
word?
Right.
She is joining me tonight, so she's my special guest. Thank you, Victoria. Thank
Of
you for
course.
joining me
Thank
for
you
this.
for having me.
This You're so welcome. You're always welcome, especially topics such as as this one. I wish I'd have did it for 7:30 because I'm rushing. I was trying to get home from work and uh, ate just a little bit. So thank you guys for choosing us tonight. We're going to kind of tease you with what we have because we're going to come back, and I don't know if Victoria may come back with me, hopefully, but we're going to kind of have some relationship talk tonight because people are of course, amidst their relationships. And, I say life happens in relationships. And I really do think that it's just due to lack of communication and misunderstandings that just keep going and going and going. So, this is going to be an ongoing thing where we just kind of sit and have open dialogue about relationships, men, women. How can we do better with understanding, with communicating? Because that's what I think it's all about, that we just truly don't understand each other from the perspective of male, female. And then I like to say we're like plants. Like plants need, all of them need water and sun, I guess, but for sure water. But a different amount. Even those that need the sun and the water, they need a different amount. So we have to kind of understand or know what kind of plant we have so that we don't destroy it with too much water, too much sunlight. So I like to think of it that way that we're all humans, like they're all plants, but their needs are different. And rarely do we take the time to figure out in relation. I think we covered this a little bit 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, or 1 week ago. Um, we come to relationships, what am I going to get? And it really should, what do I have to give? What am I capable of giving? And knowing that, because when you know that, you should be able to pick, as we said, the right, wrong person for you, because we're all wrong in some kind of way. But it's just knowing that I would love to have, I'm okay, I'm down for this kind of wrong. So Victoria, what's going on in your life? Welcome again. Tell them who you are and whatever else you want them to know.
So I'm Victoria. I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, in my spare time, I like to pretty much decorate my home and I like cooking and just kind of doing things around the house. So, and I'm really excited to be here
So
tonight.
you
So,
great, 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 great. So we may have another special. She'll add some spice to the. Let's see here.
ooh,
Are you dropping in and gonna add some spice tonight? Hey,
oh,
I'm
Angela.
trying. I'm trying to see. Oh, can you
What are
see
you
me?
listening on your phone? We can see you
Yeah.
fine. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Well,
So
I
I
can't see
have
you.
my
But okay.
cousin. You may not have your camera on.
I thought I did. Hold on.
We can see you, so I guess you do kind of. But you still can't see us.
No, I can't see you
No.
guys, but it'll click in some.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Oh, well, we lost her. Something's going on.
no.
Something's going on there, but we're going to keep going. So I have a series of questions, and if you guys saw I guess the event page that I put out there, we are going to start with, is love enough? And again, we're talking about relationships. We're about there we go. Got your back.
Okay, I'm here. Hi.
So you guys know Angela. She's been on before. I can't remember what we talked about, but she's been on before. For those of you who have watched previously, she's been on with us. Angela, we have Victoria on. My sister, daughter, sister, I guess. So
Nice
she's
to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too.
so you guys, we're talking about relationships. Um, and we're going to go around. I have some really good questions that we're going to throw out, just a few, and then we'll keep this going next time. So let's get that out the way first, make sure everybody's good. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. You can give us some good advice about relationships because you've had your man for quite a while now. Thank you and welcome. And thank you for listening. So, I'm gonna just throw it right out there. Let's start. Is love enough? I'm gonna throw it back to you guys first, or do you want me to give my thing first? I'll start if y'all
Because
decide.
I'm
So
not, I'm not.
I say absolutely no. I said I say it's absolutely not enough. Um, and I'll say there's reasons why, but and I guess a lot of the questions, many of the questions that we touch on tonight, will probably back to that. I have always said that I really believe that there are many people who are not there, not because they don't love each other, but taking it back to what I said, they have not, or they take the time to understand one another so that I know what you need and how you need it, um, and the vice versa. You know what I need and how I need it. Again, like the plants, they need water, they need sun, but it's up to us when we purchase those plants to ask questions. And if we don't have anybody to ask those questions of, then we have to go look it up if we want to keep that plant alive, um, and be able to nurture it properly. No, there's no different relationships. I believe that we have to know what each person's needs are. We're going to talk a little bit about love language and life language as well. But that, do you believe love is enough?
No. Not in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of other factors that go into it. Like you said, understanding one another, learning how to communicate, and what everybody's communication style is different. So
Mm-hmm.
just really understanding how that person communicates too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, love is not enough. Just alone, it's not.
So, would you say? Well, we'll come back. We'll let Angela go next. What's your say on that, Angela?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say forgive me because I'm doing motherly duties right now, so I'm putting up groceries. So y'all forgive me. But in my opinion, I am of the opposite of what you guys think. I think that love is absolutely enough because when you think about the characteristics of love, love is patient, it's kind. It does not vault itself against another. It doesn't it's not accusatory. It's not, um, a blame type thing when you use love as your motivation for what you do and how you do it. So I do believe that people can be loved into a place of um, total surrenderance in relationship, in terms of being free to be who they are. So yes, I do think that love is enough. I think love is sufficient. It covers everything.
So maybe we should define enough because I totally disagree with what you said.
Okay.
So because again, I there are people who say they love each other. Like, look how many people get married based on the fact that I love you. But
Mhm.
somewhere along the way, it goes sour. It does not work.
Right.
Um, Let me try to do this another way because Angela, we're getting just your body.
Okay. Hold on. It's because of how I got my phone settled.
Okay, okay, there you go.
Okay.
So So I just feel like if it was enough, then we'd have more people um who would stay together and who would have better relationships. So I think when we say enough, I'm thinking to have a long lasting relationship. Because what if one person, well, both people say, I love you, but they don't know, and they may, but they don't know how to channel that love.
But is that love
And I know
false?
you, and I know you may saying that's where the patience and all that comes in, but let's be real. It typically, based on statistics, it doesn't happen that way. And you were
Right. But
saying what?
I was saying, but in the midst of you saying, is love enough to stay together because people say they love each other and then don't. But is that love's fault? Or is it a lack of compassion between the two have enough compassion for us to sit down and have a conversation. We talk about that all the time.
Right.
Things can be solved with a simple word or two, just a conversation. Hey, honey, I feel like we're growing apart. What are some things we can do to freshen this thing up, to spice it back up, to give us a new light, a new revival in our marriage, in our situation? You know what I'm saying? So
But
I do believe that that's not really love's fault. That's the individuals. But maybe I'm learning
so,
something tonight.
so I guess it depends on how we are approaching that love. I guess I see what you're saying when you say the definition, the concept of love,
Right,
um, that it in itself should be enough.
right.
Should be enough. If we're basing it on what love is.
Yes,
But let's just let's again, if we don't know, and I hear what you're saying, then that's not really love's fault. That's people, and that's a really good way to look at it. That
hmm,
is, um, that really has to do with the people who are maybe not capable. But at the end of the day, even when you love someone, we never are all those things that love is described as.
absolutely. And I
So
believe we're
we,
those
yeah,
things at different times, maybe for each
right,
other.
right,
But I
right.
do believe that they really do exist, and I do believe that it's possible to obtain those if two individuals are willing to work
Two.
together to obtain it.
And that's what you're saying. Two individuals who are willing to um, take that time to know the needs of each other. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We lost Victoria there. I'm not sure what's going on, but hopefully she will get back in. So I'm going to get to our next question. And you guys, if you have any comments about what we say or the question, please drop those here, and we will get to those just as quickly as possible. And tonight, we're just doing a roundtable talk and putting some questions out there so you guys can help us all, I guess.
Yes.
So this is the next one. Do you feel that we're all, men and women, at the beginning stage, the representative? I say absolutely yes. Absolutely. Because we are, like, the things that, and Angela and I was kind of talking about this earlier today. When you meet someone, I was watching a video this morning. It said, why do people go cold in relationships? And I thought that's very interesting. And it talked about how when you meet someone, you're at the beginning stage, you don't know them, they don't know you, but more importantly, they have not hurt you. So they're getting the best version of you right now because there is no pain associated with you and them. And then after the pain, after he or she hurts you or makes you feel some kind of way, you start to view them possibly just like the others. And slowly, slowly, you move forward, but you're also keep protecting the pain that you started to feel, the hurt that you started to feel again.
Right.
So I do believe that we all show up with that representative um, in the beginning for many, many reasons. Again, because it's new, and that's what we do when things are new. You get a new car, you're wiping it, you're making sure it's clean, anything. It's new to us. We like new things. We like to be, I guess, aroused in some way. So the question was, Victoria, that do we all show up as the representative in the beginning, men and women? Do we all show up as some form of a representative, um, not truly ourselves? And I said absolutely yes.
Yeah, we do. Because at the end of the day, like everybody still wants to make somewhat of a good impression or
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
paint themselves to be a better version than they may really be in real life.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think we're all guilty of it.
Right. Right. I'm gonna let her know that we'll have to catch up with her. She's not putting the groceries up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll tell her here, you guys. I tell you what, give me just a minute. I tell you what, Victoria, I'm gonna throw the next question out.
Okay.
Um, well, what do you think? I'm gonna say this. What do you think annoys a man more than anything as it relates to a woman?
Mm, that's a good question.
So I was reading up on this question, and believe it or not, I was really like, what? It says trust, that when you don't trust them. I thought that was really, really interesting.
Trust.
Yes, that when a woman, and I'm assuming it's maybe talking more about the man who is trustworthy than the one
Yeah.
who is not. But and I could see that because, and I think that's could possibly be a question or an answer that fits both of us. Because think about it, when you are a trustworthy person and someone does not trust you and you're not giving them any reason not to, that can feel really, sometimes
Yeah.
I've heard men say that it makes them want to cheat or feel
Oh,
like, I mean, I've heard men say that when you don't trust me and I'm already doing it, then I might as well do it if you're going to think that of me
yeah.
anyway. So, but I did find that super, super, super interesting. But that was the answer for, and that was based on the men. So, what do you guys think about this? Are the needs of men and women different in a relationship? And we're not, I know you guys may say you cannot really, we're just talking generalization. We're not
Yeah.
saying all men, all women. Do you feel that just the overall needs for a man and a woman are extremely different, I'll say.
I think they.
I say yes. What do you
Yeah.
say?
I think
Yeah,
they are. They are
yeah,
different.
yeah.
Um,
I think men are more simple than we are. And I I feel like they need much less than we need.
yeah.
And I think that I think it was just created to be that way. And
Yeah.
now again, there's some men who are just who feel like they are needy, like women or whatever. And I hate to say that like women. I'll say that need more rather than needy. That we tend
Needy.
to need
Yeah.
more in a relationship. Um, some of the things that it says that men need: respect, and for you to continue to be eye candy, meaning, I guess, keep
Love
yourself up
husband.
and together. Right, right. Because, in the representative stage, we do it all, right? They're coming over. Wow, we might spruce up a little bit. After a while, he comes to the door, you got your pajamas
Right.
on and your
Got
hair,
your do rag.
your
Your hair
do-rag
wrap.
on. So they need respect for you to continue to be eye candy. Freedom was interesting to me. They need freedom, not saying freedom to roam, just freedom to be, not nagging where you've been, what you're doing, I this,
Yeah.
I that, just kind of freedom. But I did think that was an interesting one. Men also crave for peace, silence, and stillness. That one was interesting to me. And this was from a survey that was presented to men. Men crave a sense of purpose more than women. I thought that was interesting, according to the people that
Yeah.
they
That doesn't
asked.
shock me.
Say that again, Victoria.
I said it doesn't shock me that they crave more of a sense of purpose than women do.
Really? Tell me a bit more.
Because in a sense, they want to be like the provider or the leader.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I could see that.
Hmm. And as I read these, I started to think about how this may make a man show up in the relationship. Because I never thought about the purpose in that sense from the male perspective. I never really think about the peace, silence, and stillness. However, I do see more men um, taking advantage of the meditation, yoga, working out, and things like that, meaning working out to get sunlight. They go to the park, walk, and things like that. So, and that could tie into the craving the peace and the silence and the stillness as well. So,
Right.
we're gonna bring it back to us guys. What do you think men, and I know we don't have a guy on this panel, so we'll answer it for you. And you guys who are out there listening, if you have a comment on this, let us know. What do women need? And so a woman needs to feel and know that she is loved and adored deeply. That word there is very important, guys. Deeply, deeply.
Yep.
And she matters not just her body, but that the man has her wrapped around his heart deeply, like deeply. And consistency. Now that's one for me, like the consistency thing. So you
Yeah.
guys, what this is saying now, I can't feel like I'm just, well, I can and probably do. Women do probably, again, take it a bit further than we probably need to sometime. But when there's inconsistency in a woman knowing or feeling like you have her in your heart, you got her back, you're her protector, um, and all of that, then there's going to be some friction going there. She also needs support in what she does. She needs attention, and women crave love and connection. Women also want to feel protected by their man.
Yeah.
And that's about right. I think that was a good example of what just that those foundation things, I guess, that we truly, 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 truly want. And I don't think that's too much to ask. What about you, Victoria?
I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Right,
Um,
especially the consistency. So you want to comment on any of those things?
I was just gonna say consistency is really important for me because I feel like a lot of times people get comfortable like after so long, so they're like, I don't have to do what I was doing in the beginning or what I did for so long to get her attention.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it's important to like be consistent in who you are and like how you're pursuing the person as well.
Right, right. You made me think about something that was not in this one. Um, I do believe that women always want to feel like that they are first in your life. That
Yes.
you respect the relationship and you as one, and that you make sure. Um, I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. I don't know. What do you think?
I can see it. I think I would agree with that. Like we
Yeah.
want to make sure that we are first and that you
Right.
keep us in mind
Right.
first
Right.
when you're
Right.
making
Or at least
decisions or
consider.
yeah,
Right.
consider
Right.
us
Consider.
when making decisions or when things happen and
Right.
maybe we feel some type of way towards it, whether our feelings are hurt or we
Right.
just don't like what someone did or said or how they acted towards us.
Right.
So yeah, I would
Right.
agree.
Right. I do. I really do. That can make it go sour pretty quickly, especially if it continues to happen. I think we always want to be considered, um, and understandably so. Things happen, and we cannot always be first. But I think that's one of the things that also changes a lot, because in the beginning the representative is hands on, he's there, you need something, whatever, and people will say, well, life happens, you can't do all of that. But I always have said this, it should get greater later. Like,
Mhm.
I feel you should wine and dine me more, if that's what it is, if that's what that person wants, meaning you don't I wouldn't expect the guy to I wouldn't take me and spend hundreds of dollars on me a first date, second date, third date. Do that when we are together. When this thing has moved, we can do that for
Right.
each other or whatever. But that's why I say it should get greater later. And maybe if people start to see it that way, hey, let's start this. Let's let this slowly come to a boil, and when it boils, that
Mhm.
means we're there. We're both hot. It's not just one person
Right.
hot. We're both hot, and that's a good way, I guess. In many ways.
Yeah.
So I just think we start out doing far too much, far too soon, and by the time then later we start to see this person show up for how they really are,
Yeah.
and then we see it as, oh, just another joker, or just another girl trying to, I guess, catch a break. I don't know. But if we would just stop, spend some time together, and not go there emotionally or physically, and just see who this person is, I think we
Is. Yeah.
do us both a great service. So I may skip that one because that one's a little, and the babies might be watching. Okay. It is. Okay. Can relationships survive? And I guess it would be more for, um, well, I'll say survive an affair for married couples. And I guess we'd call it cheating for those who are
uh,
not. I don't know. I've never thought about that.
yeah.
And yeah, I say yes. I've seen many relationships, and some actually get better because I think it can be, or sometimes it is a wake up call, that someone's not happy here and that they've stepped
Yeah.
outside. So um, I say yes. What do you say, Victoria?
I
Oh, Empress. Oh, okay. I think she
okay. Well, I
disconnected.
can't say on my. Oh wait, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. I was getting ready to pull Angela in, but I think it got disconnected again. You're fine.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, I guess yes for some people. If you can really
Would it for
work through
you?
the issue,
Would it for you if you were
no,
married? Or
I don't think it would. No,
it's a wrap for you?
I think that would be a wrap for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
for
that
me
something that
personally, it's a no.
it's a
But I
no?
mean, I
Is
can't.
that something that you would set the stage up front that, hey, if this happens, it's a wrap for you as it relates to the
Yeah,
cheating, or you would set that? Okay.
I would make that very clear. Like these are my boundaries. Yeah, I don't think I could get over something like that.
Hmm.
I think for me, it will always be in the back of my mind, and then you know how like
Hmm.
you could get past something, and then it's like then you just look at them and you just start remembering like what they did, and you just get mad all over again. So no, not for
No.
me. But I mean,
Okay.
I think for other people, if they can work through it or get the help or counseling or whatever it is that they need, then yes.
Okay. So, what are, since we've been talking about the representative, Angela, I see you there, but I don't see that you are there to pull you in the stream. So, if you want me to pull you in the stream, let me know. So, what are a few things that we, both men and women, should never ignore? And so, this is about the red flags because we hear people talking about we miss the red flags. And I do agree with that. But red flags are great, and we can be a great opportunity to get to know each other and see if we want our scars to fall in love. I should have read that, right wrong person. I'll stop and find
Mhm.
that and read it. But I think sometimes a red flag is should be outside of a few things that I have here. Red flags are just us getting to know each other, and I need to understand, why do you have that red flag? What
Yeah,
where does it stem from? Because we've all been through some things. We all have some pain from other relationships, unfortunately, and just growing up, life as a child, the things that we bring, forward because we don't deal with people, we don't have the conversations. So some of the things, that I got out of some articles is being clingy. However, just because someone is clingy, this is what the article said, that clingy doesn't always is not always a bad thing. It could just be someone that really likes to spend time with you. However, when it gets to a point where it feels controlling, and they want to know your every little move, and are disrespectful to your desires and passions of the things you want to do, and gaslighters. I've been hearing that word a lot, gaslighters.
oh yeah,
Gaslighters. And these are the things that said, like, never ignore those red flags. Those should be things that you have an opportunity to address. And based on the conversation, you move on, or we go forward past this. But if it continues to show up, that those are truly some red flags. And again, that was clinginess. And basically taking clinginess to the next level, controlling every little move, disrespectful, and things like that to your desires or what you want to do, and so forth. So, what are your thoughts on those, Victoria?
uh, I'll agree with that. I think yeah, after you have the conversation, because I think a lot of people, well, I know my generation, we're like, oh, if it's a red flag, like cut them off and keep moving.
So, what is your
But I guess another
generation?
thing,
What is your generation?
we're millennials.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
if I be
So, do you think
specific,
you guys cut them off quicker than we used to? Really?
yes, yes, like block, remove. Like we're very quick. I know a lot of my friends, even myself too. I can be quick to pretty much just block people. or just completely stop talking to them altogether once I'm realizing like you're exhibiting behaviors that are a red flag. So yeah, we don't really take the time to talk with people, but I'm glad you brought it up because it is something that maybe we should start doing. Like giving people the chance to like, hey, let's try to talk through this. Let's try. And then
Mhm.
if it works, it works. But if it doesn't, then we can move to the next stage of just stop communicating or whatever it is that we need to do.
So do
Um,
you feel like your age, that they don't really communicate about the thing, it's a red flag and they just move on to the next? What do you
yeah.
think that does for future relationships though? Do you think that those things like that pile up and then you take those on to the next relationship, if nothing but looking for those same things to happen again? Like, is he or she this way? Do you think that hurts the going forward?
It does because you look at the next person and you're kind of like, okay, you know, essentially we're all like, I hope you're not like the last person I talked to or whatever I dated. So yeah, we are looking for signs of that person in the next person, or hoping that they don't have those same signs. Um, so yeah,
Do you think by looking for those signs that sometimes those signs make you see things that may not really be if you're
ooh, that's
looking for
a
them?
good question. Yeah, I guess you that could happen.
Hmm.
That could happen.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Do
I'll
you
agree.
feel that we should start asking questions, or y'all should start asking questions? Say when something happens, um, do you feel that it might be more beneficial if you go back and say, "Hey, honestly, what happened? I just need to know for me to move
Mhm.
forward so that I don't take this." Do you think that would be beneficial? And that's I think that's across the board, no matter the age. But do you think it would be beneficial if people started to do that?
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial. That way, I guess it gives a chance for both people to talk it out or try to work through
Hmm.
whatever it
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can see it being a benefit.
Yeah. Why do y'all feel? And for those of you who are listening, um, why do you feel it's so hard for us to say the things that make us look, I
Vulnerable.
hate the word weak, but vulnerable or in love? Like the quote said,
Yeah.
between what is said but not meant and what is meant but not said, relationships are lost. So between what is said but not meant and what is meant but not said, relationships are lost. And the example that I like to give, say for instance, you're in a heated argument with your guy or your girl, and someone says, well, this is just over. I'm gonna leave. It's easier to say, well, just go. I don't blank, 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 leave, da, 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 rather than say, hey, I love you. I know we're in a bad situation right now, but I wish you wouldn't go. Let's just settle it and we'll talk about it later. It's so hard for people to say that,
Yeah.
or to to be vulnerable. Why? Just for you guys listening, put the comments there. Why do you feel? And for me, I'll tell you guys, when I was that way, I can't say that there. Other than that, I didn't learn how to be vulnerable. And I think when we have to grow. We have to grow internally. It have to be something really bad, really, really, really bad. And by then they probably should be gone anyway. If I
Mhm.
so for their sake, if it takes me there. But um yeah, it had to be really, really bad for me to not say, hey, it's not worth it's not worth this not working, unless it again it was something that really was worth this not working.
Yeah.
So but why do you feel that we have difficulty in saying those things that we really want to say and what we really need?
People are afraid of, I think, two things. Well, it could be more than two things, but two things that come to my mind are rejection. So, like, not getting the
Mm,
response you want, or someone just like pretty much invalidating what your feelings or what you're trying to express.
mhm.
And then two, just being ignored completely. Like, I guess that might go hand in hand, but yeah.
Yeah.
rejection and then just being ignored. Like maybe not getting a text back, or it could be if you're talking over the phone or in person, the other person may just gloss over everything that you
Mhm.
express.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
because I can imagine saying that and then the person still leaves.
yeah.
However, so if you said no, I really wish you would stay, but wouldn't we feel worse if we didn't say it? Or don't we feel worse when we don't say it and they leave? So you see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like if they leave and we just say go ahead and we do really care, then we still feel some kind of way. So it's still a very selfish, egotistic thing. I understand it. But that's why I meant that you really have to grow and you really have to know if this is what you want. If he or she is your right wrong person and is the problem that you want to have. I've got to read that. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna throw another question out and I'm gonna give it over to you and I will search for the right wrong person thing that I'm looking for. And I know you have to get off about 10-15 minutes left. Is that good?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right. Oh no, I can't ask that one. That's for a private show. Let's see. What what is it that women unintentionally may do or say that hurt men's feelings? What do you think some of those are? Or I'll tell you what the
Mm,
answer came back and then you can talk a little bit about it.
okay.
Downplay their emotions. So downplaying the male's emotions. And I put interesting because I think men suppress their emotions. So I just found that really interesting. And maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a man, but I just think men do less talking than women do. And those things they want to say, they don't always say, not even to their homeboys about how they're feeling. And it said if a guy exposes their emotions to you, that means they trust you. And so that is something it says that we sometimes unintentionally do is we just kind of downplay that they have emotions as well. But again,
Mhm.
I find that interesting because I think men suppress how they really feel for whatever reason. I think it's just part of their makeup. I'm gonna turn it over to you for just a little bit while I find what I was looking for, and I want to
Um,
read it.
okay. So
So, what are your thoughts on that?
I could see it like how we suppress or tell them what was it suppressing their emotions.
Yeah. It says one of the things that we unintentionally do that men don't like is that we just kind of gloss over their emotions,
Mhm.
downplay them. And that's
Yeah.
something that men is saying that we don't understand what that does in the relationship and how that makes them feel in the relationship.
Yeah, I could see that. Or um and I don't know if this kind of goes hand in hand, but just telling a guy that, you don't show emotion or you don't do this. Well, I guess it's the opposite. Because there are a lot of guys that don't show emotion or they don't express how they feel. So it could be that when you're telling them that, again, not a guy, so I don't know. But it could be that when you're telling them stuff like that, like, oh, you don't care, or, you don't have emotions towards me or about this relationship,
Mhm,
that could irritate them as well. I
mhm.
don't know, but I mean, I know personally I've done that before, and I've had a man say, I do care, I do,
You
have
said
emotions.
you said the word to him that you don't care, and he's
Yeah, I've said that
okay.
to a guy before that, I feel, or it comes across like you don't care because you're not vocal or expressing how you feel. Um, and that would irritate him a little bit. Like, why would you think that? Da, da, da. So that's why I say that answer.
Okay.
I trying to
I
think if
think we
it.
do it because we think that they don't. I think it's just kind of a natural thing that we do because we we think that men really don't care most of the time. Like we they don't care as much as we do. It's kind of what we started out talking about. I think they show how they care differently than we do. And it's
Yeah.
so that's why it's so important to have that conversation about I know Angela and Sarah and I were talking today about the life language. I'm sorry, the love language. And I thought about, we put a lot of focus on love language, and it's really, really important. However, I feel it's more difficult now to love because people don't know who they are, which is why I do the life language, which is why that helps people not just know who you are, but understand how you are,
Hmm.
how you are. And then once you understand that, you can kind of get a feel um, for what kind of person you need, what you're looking for. And if you are not an emotion that I shouldn't say emotional, that if you are not a person that man or woman that expresses how you feel or what you need, then that's not just about the other person, man or woman, because we have to be able to say when things bother us, how they make us feel, and so then it's the person's responsibility to say or do then what you need or ask, well, how can I make this different? So let me read this, and some of you may have heard it, but I love, love, love it, so I'm going to read it again. The name of it is Finding the Right Wrong Person. Let Your Scars Fall in Love. So it reads, we're seeking that special person who is right for us. But if you've been through enough relationships, and we have, you guys, so it says we're seeking that special person who is right for us. But if you've been through enough relationships, you begin to suspect there's no right person, just different flavors of wrong. Why is this? Because you yourself are wrong in some way, and you seek out partners who are wrong in some complementary way. But it takes a lot of living to grow fully into your own wrongness. And it isn't until you finally run up against your deepest demons, your unsolvable problems, the ones that make you truly who you are, that we are ready to find a lifelong mate. Only then do you finally know what you're looking for. And I like to say you know what you're looking for because you finally know who you are and what you have inside. So only then do you know what you're finally looking for. You're looking for the wrong person, but not just any wrong person, the right wrong person, someone you lovingly gaze upon and think, this is the problem I want to have. I will find that special person who is wrong for me in just the right way. Let Our Scars Fall in Love. And that's by Galloway Cannell. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, I like that.
Like you find the person and you say, this is the problem
Hmm.
I want to have. And you're basically saying, I see you, I know you, I accept you. Let's do this life together in spite of all of that. And he or
Yeah.
she says the same for you. So I love, love, love that. It is on the relationship table talk page, you guys, and you can actually it's at the top. I guess I made it where it's always there at the top because if you're in a relationship, you're married or whatever, I mean, it's easy some days. It's natural, I think. Some of you may disagree. Um, just to not, you're not always there at the same place you want to be. And so you always have to, I guess, the main part, this is the problem I want to have. Is he
Hmm.
or she the problem you want to have? Because guess what? You can leave them. The next person's gonna have to be the right wrong person, and you're gonna have to feel that way about them, or you're gonna keep going through the same thing. And that's why, like Victoria said, it's so important that we take the time to start having these conversations rather than just jumping in the bed together. Go somewhere where you can sit and talk. Take a, have a picnic, go walking, at that first stage. It doesn't have to always be so busy to where you're not even taking the time to get to know one another. We got to change the way we look at how we start it because we're good at starting it, but it's so difficult. It seems it's becoming so difficult to keep it going. One more question, and there was one. Okay, let me do this. I think I'm gonna go straight to that one. I have a video, and I hope that
Mhm.
Well, maybe I don't. I don't have the video, you guys. I'm sorry. Wonder if I play it, will you guys be able to hear it? Let me try. Let me
You
try.
know, if I can
And I
hear
know
it.
Tasha is listening. So, Tasha, if you will let me know if you can hear this. This is for the men. This is for the men. Um, let's see here.
Be good, sister. When you fall in love with a man, that love makes you willing to give yourself up. I'm not talking about giving up your body. I'm talking about giving up your mind, giving up your own aspirations, your own desires for your future. When you fall in love with a man, you give up your life to accept his life. Look here now. See me talking to him, brother. And they ain't arguing with me.
Were you guys able to hear it?
I heard it.
You did? I
Yeah.
wonder, somebody out there listening, can
I
you may
wondered.
hear because we were right here in the studio. I didn't know, I didn't want to keep it going unless I knew you guys could hear it. So maybe somebody's telling me that they could. Yes, great. So I'll keep it going. I may even just start it over. So, and we won't be very long because my special guest has to go here. So I'm going to let it go.
Hoping.
When you fall in love with a man, that love makes you willing to give yourself up. I'm not talking about giving up your body. I'm talking about giving up your mind, giving up your own aspirations, your own desires for your future. When you fall in love with a man, you give up your life to accept his life. Look here now. See me talking to him, brother. And they ain't arguing with me. That's why it's so dangerous to play games with a woman. I'm telling you, brother, if you don't mean her no good, please leave her alone. Don't play with her. Don't take her body. Don't take her pleasure. Leave her alone. Because if you're playing games with her, you could ruin this woman for life. If you play with her because she's so serious, her life is so made after the order of God, that if she bows to you and is willing to give up her life for you, man, you can't be good, sister.
All right, you guys. I hope you heard it all. So if you're looking, and I want to say we don't own the rights to that video or the music that was playing, but that was beautiful to me. And I saw a post. I had someone post that in on their page, and it created chaos between the women and the men. And I thought, why? Because this man, in spite of, and this is very important, because we will judge someone or not like their lifestyle or disagree, and then we will discount everything he or she says. And you guys, that's egotistic, that's selfish. I don't care how much you don't like someone, there is something that you can learn from everybody. I say, for me, even if I learn what not to do, how not to think. So, but the most beautiful part there for me, he says, if you mean her no good, leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
Don't mess with her. And so we as women can be angry with this video, because unless it's just because of the messenger. And so I'm going to leave this here. We'll start back up maybe next week or the week after. We'll see. I'll take the question here, and we don't have to answer it. And this is for men. And you guys share this with your your male friends and all of that. For men, why do men seemingly, and I hear maybe the women were upset about him saying that the woman gives up this, gives up that, because he's not saying that's what we should do. He was saying that a woman who loves you, and guys, you know who that woman is. You know when a woman is feeling you, when she's falling in love with you. You know, because it's all over. It's like this, there's an aroma, there's a scent, there's a fragrance. There is something about her that changes. And when you see that, if you know that you mean her no good, why do you continue? Why do you play with her? And when you do, or if you do you know? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know the pain you're creating? It's a trickle effect, like down to her daughter when she finally becomes a mother, um, or if she becomes a wife because she's so scarred from that. So that's my question. I guess we will do this
Yeah.
next week again because I have so many more questions, and I'll have to kind of tweak some of them, just to make them proper. But we need to start doing this more, guys, because people who love each other are losing each other, or love one another, they're losing each other because they don't take the time to ask those questions from a place of understanding. And what do you need and how do you need it? What do you need and how do you need it? And that person asks of you, but you have to be mature enough. Like that's like the falling in love with let our scars fall in love. You have to say, this is the problem that I want to have first. So that when those scars start to touch one another, you have to remember that and say, I chose you and you chose me. Let's do this. Let our scars fall in love. But we want the white picket fence, the nice house, the three beautiful kids, the dog that obeys and comes and goes. Sorry, it doesn't happen that way. It's just not for real. Doesn't happen. So, Victoria, anything? Angela's here. Well, I don't know if she wants to come in. I'm gonna try. Hi.
Hello there.
Final words. I'm gonna turn it over to y'all. We got like 7 minutes. Well, I'm good. I know Victoria has to jump off. So,
Okay.
so Victoria, you want to talk about that first because you have to go before we do.
Regarding what's the question again? I'm sorry.
Well, anything about what I read or just the video? Well, what you heard from the video? Anything did that register with you or any comments?
It registered with me as far as like if you don't mean a woman any good, like leave her alone. I strongly agree with that, and I mean it goes vice versa too. Like there are some women that you know is some good men out there, so they might not mean a man well, or they know they're not like ready to go to the next level if he's ready. So, I mean, I'm gonna twist it around and say the same thing for women. Like, if you know you're not, ready, or you're not lining up with what this person wants, like leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste their time. So yeah.
That's very important that you said if you know that you're not in a line with what they want. It's so important that we make it known that we want to be in a relationship. Are we just playing? What are we doing? So that everybody knows. So I know you have to go, so jump off whenever. Tell your dad I said hi.
I will.
Okay.
I'll text after the show.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Miss Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for coming back in. I don't know how much you heard. Did you hear it? Did you hear any?
I heard some, and then I got disconnected, so I had to reboot some things.
Okay. So where did you leave off at?
Well, the last thing I heard was when we were talking about giving the person the opportunity to know what it is you're looking for, in a sense. I'm just kind of paraphrasing, but yeah, that's where I stopped at.
Okay, I'm trying to think where that is. But you did hear the poem, or not poem, but the wrong right person. Did you hear that? But
I did not.
Okay, you've heard that before about the scars falling in love. Let your scars fall in love. No,
I haven't.
Okay. I know y'all don't. I love this, so I know you guys don't mind me. Y'all probably need to hear it again anyway. So I'm going. I am going to read it just so that Angela can have, and we'll leave it there and pick up on the next questions next week. So I am going to read it because I would love your. I thought you had heard this before, Angela.
No, I haven't. Sorry.
Okay, so the title is Finding the Right Wrong Person. Let your scars fall in love. So it goes, we're seeking that special person who is right for us. But if you've been through enough relationships, you begin to suspect there's no right person, just different flavors of wrong. Why is this? Because you yourself are wrong in some way, and you seek out partners who are wrong in some complementary way. But it takes a lot of living to grow fully into your own wrongness. And it isn't until you finally run up against your deepest demons, your unsolvable problems, the ones that make you truly who you are, that we're ready to find a lifelong mate. Only then do you finally know what you're looking for. You're looking for the wrong person, but not just any wrong person, the right wrong person, someone you lovingly gaze upon and think, this is the problem. I'm sorry. We got this little thing going on. She knows. I got to that part. But anyway, let me get back. I'm sorry, y'all. Angela and I talk a lot, so we're both on the same page here. This is the problem. Okay, let me go back. But you're not looking just for any wrong person, the right wrong person, someone you lovingly gaze upon and think, this is the problem I want to have. I will find that special person who is wrong for me in just the right way. We'll let our scars fall in love. And that's about Galway Kinnell. Kennel.
Wow.
I thought you had heard that before. I'm sorry.
I haven't, but
Should I
very
send it to you?
enlightening. Yeah, very enlightening.
Okay.
Sounds real familiar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She's probably has nothing to say now, y'all. That was
I mean, I'm flabbergasted because that is so like I think that's the point where we all need to get to because let's face it, there's no perfect people. You're not going to walk into a place and you see a person across the room and they glide over to you. Things just don't happen like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the truth of the matter is, what are the things that you're willing to fight through to get to the falling in love? And then I don't want to fall in love. I want to walk into love. So I know exactly what I'm getting into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we all have to face the fact that we got something, you know, because I had to talk about my ex-husband's and I was telling you once before that I loved him from a place that I thought he needed to be loved, but that is not to say that's necessarily what he needed. So I think that in those cases, we have to get to see the scars to get beyond that, to see who the real person is. Because I think scars sometimes prohibit us from opening up fully. Scars make us fearful of what could happen when nothing has actually happened, right? So I'm a witness to that.
But how do we do that if people are so afraid to take the band-aids off the scars? Like, how do we do that if it's seemingly people are, and you guys, this is something in today's world, we have to fight for that. You have to work for that. Like, you have people feel like we're so disconnected, and I don't believe that people feel comfortable in being vulnerable. I don't think we make people feel safe with us because not just the person, not just us or not just men. I'm saying in general, if you keep that band-aid on, I don't know what your scar looks like. I don't know if it's small. I don't know if it's deep. I don't know if it's long. I don't know what. Wow. I don't know.
That's so profound. I'm just astonished because I'm thinking about a situation and I'm saying, wow. And I was actually touching a scar, right? And I didn't even think of it as, this is something that will connect us even more. But I'm looking at the scar and I'm saying, what can I do to help heal it? Right?
Nothing if they don't take the Band-Aid off, right? If they don't
Right.
reveal it. Like, what can I do to heal it? Nothing
Right.
if they don't reveal it.
Right. But I'm saying, like, after it was revealed, and I'm asking questions and I'm asking, like, how did this happen? But, so really that's realistically, revelationally, the way that you get to finding out what's behind the scar. You got to ask the right questions. You got to hang in there. You got to fight to get beyond that point, because none of us want to be vulnerable. Like, who wants to open up to somebody and then know you're going to be hurt? But what I've come to learn is that if you never open up, you'll never know what could be.
See, I think we want to be vulnerable. I think we are, based on, like, I don't know if you heard Victoria and I talking, we bring all that stuff because we don't get the answers before we leave, or we go and we don't go back and seek. Sometimes I think it's necessary to say, hey, I need to know what happened. And you don't, and then that way, because I think most times when people break up or do whatever, it's because of those Band-Aids still on those scars. Like, I kicked your sore and I didn't even know you had one.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like, that's walking up. If you've had an operation and bandage and I come up and just hit you, that's what it feels like. But we have to do better with saying, I'm not okay. What you did made me feel this way, or I'm struggling in our relationship because of this. You owe it to yourself to do that. So you have to do that for your peace.
Yes.
I always say, when you show up in your relationship and if it ends, then you can walk away with an empty suitcase.
Yep.
You can leave all that right there, because you could say, bro, sis, I gave you everything I had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so unless you've changed, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out. Unless you've changed, because I gave you everything I had. Unless you're ready to take those Band-Aids off, I got to take the empty suitcase and go. I'm going to put something else in it somewhere else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Got to be willing to have the uncomfortable conversations, because those are the conversations that's going to catapult you into the next level of relationship with that person. If you never ask, and I'm guilty, of expecting people to just know that what you did made me uncomfortable. And in the end, we're not mind readers. So we definitely need to be able to open up and say, hey, this is bothering me and I don't want it to fester or harbor these situations, and be willing to open the dialogue, open it up. Like, my thing is, what do you have to lose? If you're going to leave me anyway.
Exactly.
What do you have to lose?
When you said open up, it's crazy, these little things, but so kooky, y'all, but I just thought about, how if we go to the grocery store and we buy something and we never open it up, it will eventually expire. So just think about that. How crazy would it be to just keep going buying jelly and bring it home, put it in the cabinet, never open it? Wait till it expire, go buy another one, never open it. That's what we do in a relationship. We just keep moving. Just, okay, you pissed me off. You didn't take the Band-Aid off. I didn't know you had it. All right, bye. Go to the next one. And then you get to the next one. When do we realize that all the next ones have something?
Yes.
And if you're not willing to be vulnerable there, you're going to go somewhere else. And if you're not vulnerable there, guess what?
Going to have that same issue.
You're going to have the same issue.
And we also have to remember we are the common denominator too. So you have to look at that.
We're looking for some wrong person in some complimentary way. And people fail. I think we fail to, and we don't want to admit that there's something in those people that we pick. There's something about us that we see in them. There's something. There's a magnet that draws.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And sometimes you have to do the work to figure out which magnet, your magnet, his magnet, vice versa. Which one was it? Was it because we have the trauma connections, like you people who
Trauma
have
bond.
experienced grief, trauma bond,
Mhm.
who has experienced, sometimes people who have experienced a deep grief will feel a, help me with that word that I cannot say, familiarity.
Familiarity.
I cannot say that word, y'all. But we don't understand. So sometimes that's why I say stop going too soon, because not everybody that comes in your life was sent to stay in your life. Sometimes they teach you like that. They force you to see those things that are, oh wow, that your deepest demons. They
Yeah.
are there to help you, and they may be there to stay. But sometimes, I think most times when you meet that person is also there. The person that you do life with should always, I think, should be the one that opens up your jelly. Like, he might not have went to buy it, but he opened that pantry and saw it in all those expired jelly and thought, "What the? You keep going buying all this jelly? Oh, we finna open this."
We're
They
gonna see
should
what's
do
at the
that,
bottom of this.
right? We're gonna figure out what's with the jelly. So, is it the problem that you want to have? And sometimes I don't think we ask that question. We just think we're supposed to be in a relationship, and we don't consider, like, hey, if this person lost their limb or got sick and I had to take care of them, do I have enough of that in me? Not doing it just because I don't want what people say, that I do it with joy, that absolutely I will take care of you because you are my right wrong problem. You're my
Mhm.
right wrong person.
Mhm.
So I feel like you have to do the work, like the scars thing, saying it's not until you've gotten to that point, like you've addressed your demons, that you are ready. And that's what I think is happening. People are not ready for what it takes for relationships, for healthy relationships, not
Right.
perfect, but for
Right.
healthy relationships.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. Do you have a question you want to throw out there? Anything you want to ask? Because I know the one of the ones that we wanted to ask, we did not get to.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you have anything you want to put out there about a man, men or women?
Um, I don't know. Is it one on there that we talked about that you didn't get to ask? Some of the ones
Um,
we figured out together.
let's see. Let me go here. Oh, so why do you guys think? And if ladies, I put some of the comments out. Thank you for the comments. I don't know if we have guys, and if we do, are they just afraid to kind of chime in? Um, so if I have a male out there, if we have a male out there listening, so this is one. Um, okay, it's kind of similar to what we talked about when I let you guys hear the video. When you know you didn't do right by her, why do you feel some kind of way when she's gone and with someone else? So again, when you, for the guys or ladies, why do you think people do this? I won't say men. Why do you think? Because women do it too. Why
Yeah.
do we? But I do want to hear from the men as well.
Hmm.
Why do we? You can know that you have a, and maybe you don't. Maybe you just got lost in it, but you at some point knew that you had a good woman, or a good man, and you let it die. You let them walk away with the band-aid still on, whatever, right? Um, but when they move on, you feel some kind of way, almost to the point where you try to sabotage their relationship or their happiness, their mental state at that time.
Yeah.
Why do you guys do that? Because I'm gonna go back to the men, because I hear a lot of women talking about how guys try to come back, and when they've moved on. I hear that a lot. So I'd love to hear um, a man tell me. I say ego. I say that it's, how they say, I don't want you until somebody else does, or I don't want you, but I don't want anybody else to have you.
Yes.
Um, I think that's true, but I also think it's this pride and this ego. And it could be that maybe this they just saw who you really were later. But if that
Mhm.
was the case, then why not just come back and say, "Hey, I messed
Right.
up. I
Right.
messed up." Because if she loved you then, women don't fall in and out of love quick. Well, I'll say some.
Right.
I don't. I will stick around until, I don't know, probably almost in the grave. Well, some things, for some things.
For some.
But um but why? Why do you go back? Um and sometimes you go back not really even wanting them, just I no, you can't have my girl. You can't have my
Right.
girl,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So Brandon's
Hmm.
father used to say that. I mean, y'all, I would have people come back and say his girl, and he said you his girl, but he was out there doing whatever in the world he wanted to do, and just one day I was no longer his girl, and he found it out in the news.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Because when a woman, that's true. When a woman is done, when a good woman is
It's a
done with
wrap.
you,
It's a wrap.
man, the kitchen caught on fire. You can't even cook in there. I'm so serious. She's done. So that's a question for everybody, I guess. But I sure would like to hear the male perspective. I
I
thought,
want. I agree with you though on it.
Mhm.
I think a lot of it has to do with ego. Being worried about what other people are gonna say because you came back to this person who you seemingly said was, not fit for a relationship with you for whatever the reason may be. You know, um, you have people in your ear, and that's why I say sometimes we have to quiet the voices because you have all this outside interference and you can't even hear even the creator. You can't even hear the creator speaking to you because you have so much noise. God can't even get a thought through your head because you got so much noise.
So distracted.
So I think it's pride of face, the ego trip. I think it's a lot of those things combined. And I feel like we have to learn how to sit in our stuff, like you and I say so oftentimes, to be able to see um where we're headed, what we
Mhm.
have going on. Because my thing is, if you with a person and they're adding to you, no matter what the situations and circumstances may be that you deal with, what you go through with that person, if it's really love, it's worth fighting for. I
Mhm.
believe that. I
Mhm.
really do with all of my heart. I am a
Mhm.
hopeless romantic, and so I believe that if it's worth fighting for, sticking it out, you know, and saying, hey, I'm not going to let my pride keep me from loving this person unconditionally because I love them to no fault, no end. And I said it, a lot of people, I think, lack that agape. See, a lot of people think that just the word love in itself is enough. You got to have agape love to be able to love people beyond their faults,
Mhm.
beyond their attitudes, beyond their, smart mouth, or, being rambunctious, or whatever the case may be. You have to have agape love. And agape love is simply love that comes with no condition. It's
Mhm.
not, I love you because you can do this. No, I love you because this is what love does.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love you because I am love.
That's it right there. Now that right there, I said that similar. I guess it might have been the same thing until you become love. And
Mm,
and you guys, we can have no more shows for the rest of this year and next year on that one. Unless you are love, you
yeah,
don't know how to love.
that's true.
Because once you become love, you love yourself in that way. And it
Mm,
makes it easy, not just to love someone else, but to have grace, to extend grace and mercy
woo,
for them when they fail and fall short. Why? Because you know love and you know what love is and you know what it does to and for someone.
right, right.
So when you get in a relationship, man, you should feel like you riding down with the drop top I don't smoke joints, but I
With
guess
the wind blowing through your
yeah,
hair.
with the hair, with whatever. I mean, for the most part, yeah, there are some things, but again, like love will make you just like you were talking today. Walk by that bed and it's not made up. It's like it's okay. It's okay.
It's
Toilet seat up. It's
not gonna die. You're not gonna die.
yeah. Toilet seat up. It's okay. You don't have
Yeah.
to put it down because you start. For instance, I remember the toilet because I used to have a toilet seat issue, but when I started growing and growing and growing, I'm like, wait, he has just as much right for it to be up as
As
I
I
have
do.
it for it to be down. I don't own the toilet. I am not the toilet seat. I don't own it. And so you start to you just start to say little things. Now that doesn't mean that I always think little things like that have more to do with the big things that you have not addressed or have an understanding of. But there are some people who just whatever a man does, whatever a woman does, it's not enough. It's not enough. Like if you leave something on the counter, they got something to say. Oh boy. But it has nothing to do with love. Because
Right.
love really is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. But
It
you
is.
only know that and you can only give that. Like how can you give me $1 if you're broke? You can't.
That's true.
You can't. You can't
That's
at
true.
all.
Yeah.
So Angela, you
Great.
gotta have a question in you. You gotta have one. One more for the road.
One more for the road. Okay.
You want me to look back on this list?
You can't. Well, you can if it's one like I said that we collaborated on and came up with it that you didn't get to ask already.
There's a lot of them.
We still want to hear from the brothers though on that
Yeah.
whole last question.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think it'll be good. I have a few guys that we probably could get in here and just let them have it. I thought Trent was going to be on, but I think he's just not feeling well.
Oh, I hope he feels better.
Yeah, he is struggling because of the weather. Um, mm, hmm. I think this one with the guys is there a thrill of the chase? Is there a thrill that you get from chasing women because they seem to simmer out later? We may have talked about that earlier though. Let me ask you guys this. This will be a good one just to kind of ease out softly. Do y'all believe that men and women can be friends? Like, can men and women really be can a man and a woman be friends without going there?
I mean, me personally, I believe so. I had a male best friend for many, many years, and we never ever crossed that boundary. But again, it's about boundaries, confiding in a person, you have them for their opinions, they help you stay. Look what the young people say, stay up on game. So I believe that they absolutely can when they decide that they're going to respect the boundaries.
Do you think, since you said yes, so do you think if one, just say if I don't know, either one, if one of them were in a relationship, what kind of relationship should the friend have, or should they, with the mate?
They absolutely should. I believe that it should be just as cordial and just as open as it is with the best friend, because I have nothing to hide. Okay. So my significant other should be a part of the interaction. They don't have to be a part of every little thing we do and say, but they should definitely, it shouldn't be an uncomfortability when that person is around, or that person calls, or that person, is at an event, or whatever the case may be, because there should be an open line of communication between everybody involved. And I believe that's on either side.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So 2 things, you guys. I think this has been really good. I'm really, really trying to continue growing. And that's another thing, you guys. I have to say it. I have to say it. I have to say it. Just because I'm on this side and you're listening to me, it does not mean that I don't have to show up in my relationship. Does not mean that it's always roses. Right. But it may not be roses, but it's flowers. It's still there. you have to work at it, but more than anything, you have to work at being the best version of yourself, being honest with who you are, how you feel. Pay attention to what alarms your spirit, like what gets you to feeling rejected, what makes you feel like that. We talked a little bit about, men feeling like men don't care as much as we care for them. We talked a little bit about that. You know, that could have all to do with us and not them.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I think if you express to a woman or a man, and like I said, you owe this to yourself. It's not really about them. If
Yeah.
you communicate what you need and how you need it, and you have to know that. You can't tell them, like, if you're broke and I need some money, you can't give it to me. You cannot just assume that the person you're in a relationship with knows what you need. And we do. We just think they should know. If they care
Right.
about me, they should know. No, if you got a band-aid on that sore, they're not gonna know what's under there.
Yeah. That's true.
They're not gonna know. And it's some of us, it appears that we got like this big band-aid that's the same color of our skin, and that's hidden, it's blended in. Then you got a little one for the people to, like, so it's a little sore, it's a little scar, but really it's the gigantic, because you got the other one covered pretty well to where you can't see it. And people can't do anything with that. You
Right.
can't grow. That's just like overwatering the flower, and plants will die if you overwater or if you underwater it. Is that a word?
Yes.
So that's my take. Your final words?
My final words would just be, get to a place where you start to love yourself enough to look in the mirror and be real.
Mm-hmm.
And that will then emulate to others. You will be able to freely open up and to freely give the love that you have to other people, because you have then opened up what you've given to yourself first.
Right.
And I'm learning that. I'm 47, and I'm learning that every single day. Like, the more I learn to love myself, I don't have to be perfect. I am love. I am light. I am energy, positive energy. I tell myself this, and this is what is helping me evolve, along with having our good, wonderful conversations that we have,
Right.
when in our spare time. So I am just so hopeful for mankind. I'm so hopeful for love. I'm so hopeful for life. And so I just want you all to practice loving yourself enough to be real, look in the full length mirror, like Trent said once before on another platform.
Yeah.
Look in the full length mirror. It's hard. I'm not going to tell you that it's not. It's some
is.
hard things that you have to face. And I'm digging deep. I'm talking about going back as far as memories from 2 years old, 5 years old, dealing with these things, going to counseling, dealing with myself so that I can then be the best person or best version of myself to a significant other. So I admonish you all to do what it takes to be the best version of you that you can be.
Right. I agree. And don't be opposed. I'm glad you brought that up, Angela. Don't be opposed to seeking counseling.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I don't say it enough. You guys, please, we're coming up on the end of the year, and this is where a lot of people start to make the New Year's resolution. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Which is, because we don't do the work to grow internally, many of us fall short with those New Year's resolutions. Because again, you can't, it's like they say you cannot heal around the same people hanging with the same people who hurt you. I guess that's how it goes. That sometimes, and I guess some people can, it just depends on that person really and how they show up, or if they show up for you. But you have to be willing to step outside of the box and be honest with yourself. We shy away. I'll say this. We shy away from really trying to find out who we are. And we do that by deflecting and always wanting the other person to change. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. No, they don't. They don't, and that is not our concern. Once you express what you need and how you need it, but you have to know first, then you can walk away, meaning not walk away from them, but it's on them now. It's on
Absolutely.
them. But you have to do the work, because I'm telling you, for me, I found out every issue I had, and sometimes still have in relationship. I try to find out, because if it makes me feel some kind of way, then I think, okay, then what's still there? What's still there? When you show up full to a party, you don't need to eat. I mean, when you've been eating all day, and just think about your life, eat up your growth all day, learn about you. And I'm just saying that to say, you really don't need anything from anybody when you become love. You show up with that love to give.
Mm,
You show up with that love to give, no matter who they are, what they do. I'm not saying they get to do anything,
no,
but you don't need to go expecting. I'm here to give you, baby.
right.
I don't, when it comes to that, you don't need to pour in me that way. I'm full. So
Mhm.
let's just get back on I explained about two people having two separate wings, but being on one body and still getting where they need to go, because they've learned how to fly together using
Mhm.
that one body to navigate that one body. So it says something like, when two people learn how to use their individual wings on one body and move about, that's a healthy
Powerful.
relationship.
It's powerful.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I think I got all of the comments. Did I miss one? Okay, I think I did. Yes. Okay. Thank you all for all the comments. Thank you for listening. I hope some of you went out to the website. I didn't talk about that, but we have kicked off the B2G Better Together Unity TV network. So we're streaming live on Roku. See, this is where I needed Trent, and somewhere else. I don't know. We have a lot of things coming, you guys. I mean, a lot of great things, but we're going to have to take them one thing at a time, maybe two at a time. I don't know. But we do have some of them prioritized, and we're going to kind of address them that way. We're working on some documentaries, a play that we hope to have coming. That'll probably be towards the end of next year,
Okay.
hopefully. Um, we have the game show that's what I'm really excited about, because I can't tell you too much about it, because there's legal stuff that we have to make sure that we have um, in place. But I know it's going to help us. It's going to help us communicate better, because of the way that we're going to approach the communication. Um, but more on that to come. Pray for us, because there's a lot of behind the scenes. I myself was up last night really late, and back up again this morning, because it takes work. You can't play with it, or it won't happen. So just keep this whole thing, I guess, in your prayers for wisdom. I don't know, the strength, um, just to keep going, and open closed doors, um, walk through them. I don't care, keep them closed. Just give me the ability to walk through them. So just keep us prayed up. So I will stop there. I will be back. Y'all hold me accountable. I am going to be back on next Tuesday. I am back. And so I will be back on again next Tuesday. And I'm going to try to get some guys lined up and ask these same questions, and kind of get their perspective of it. So I'll get maybe two, maybe two. Angela, you want to come back next Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you know a guy that might want to come on and chime in?
I'll have to check.
Okay. Dude, let me know. Because we can have several. I mean, we can have several on here. So let me know.
Okay.
And I do have two or three that I'm sure will come.
Okay.
But if you have somebody, the more the merrier, and then we'll hear from the guys.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Angela.
All
I'm
right.
sure I will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
And Thank you guys for listening. Love you all. Have a great night. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.